Hi, I'm Barbara Beckert with Disability Rights Wisconsin and the Wisconsin Disability Vote Coalition. The coalition is a nonpartisan effort to help voters with disabilities fully participate in the electoral process. We invite you to join us in this effort. November 3rd is Election Day. This general election is for President, U.S. congressional representatives, even-numbered state Senate seats, all Wisconsin Assembly seats, and all district attorneys. There may be other things on the ballot in your community. Because of the health risk of COVID-19, we are encouraging voters with disabilities to complete an absentee ballot this year. In this video, we'll walk you through the process for voting absentee, requesting your ballot, completing it, and returning it in time to make sure your vote is counted on Election Day. In Wisconsin, any registered voter is eligible to request an absentee ballot for any reason. Wisconsin does not currently have an ADA-compliant, screen reader accessible absentee ballot. Our coalition is working to change that, but as of today, it's not available in our state. As you go through the voting process, you may have some questions. Know that help is available. One great resource is your municipal clerk. Each community has a clerk who oversees voting in their community. You can find your clerk's contact information on the My Vote Wisconsin website at myvote.wi.gov, or give us a call at the Disability Rights Wisconsin Voter Hotline, 844-347-8683, or email info@disabilityvote.org. To request an absentee ballot, you must be a registered voter. If you aren't registered currently, you may be able to register online at myvote.wi.gov. You can also register by mail or in person at your municipal clerk's office or at your polling place on Election Day. To register online, you will need to have a Wisconsin driver's license or a Wisconsin state ID card. If you don't have a valid state ID card or driver's license, you can still register. First, complete a paper registration form. You will need to mail it to your clerk with a proof of residence document with your name and current address. A proof of residence document could be a utility bill, a bank statement, or a government document that has your name and current address on it. Deadlines to register for the November election are by mail or online, Wednesday, October 14th, 2020. To register in person, you have up till Election Day, Tuesday, November 3rd, 2020. When you request an absentee ballot, you're required to provide a copy of your photo ID unless you meet one of these conditions. If you have provided it before with an absentee ballot request, you do not need to provide photo ID. If you are exempt by law, you do not need to provide a photo ID. This training will explain the exemptions. Here are some common photo IDs. Most people use a state of Wisconsin driver's license or a state photo ID card. Some other common IDs are a photo ID issued by the Department of Veterans Affairs, college ID, a U.S. passport, certificate of naturalization, or an ID card issued by a federally recognized Wisconsin tribe. If you want more information about photo ID, a great website to check out is bringit.wi.gov. If you do not have a photo ID currently, we encourage you to apply for one as soon as possible. You can get a free photo ID for voting from the Department of Motor Vehicles, or the DMV. Contact the DMV Voter ID hotline at 844-588-1069 to get the details and find out about the process for applying and the documents you need to bring. There are a few exceptions to the photo ID requirement. If a voter lives in a care facility, such as a nursing home or group home, and does not have an acceptable photo ID, the care facility administrator can sign a special certificate to verify the voter's ID. This certificate is called the EL122SP, and it's available for download on the Wisconsin Elections Commission website. The other option would be for a voter in a care facility to apply to be what's called an indefinitely confined voter. An indefinitely confined voter is a voter confined due to age, illness, infirmity, or disability. The voter signs a statement to that effect when requesting an absentee ballot. The voter is not required to provide proof or documentation. Indefinitely confined status does not require permanent or total inability to leave your residence. If you have requested your ballot as an indefinitely confined voter, absentee ballots will be sent to you for every election. Indefinitely confined voters are not required to provide a copy of their photo ID. To apply to be an indefinitely confined voter, complete the absentee ballot application, paper, online, or email, and choose the indefinitely confined option to send a written request to your municipal clerk. If you are voting absentee, do not delay. Request your ballot now. The deadline to request an absentee ballot for regular voters is October 29th at 5 p.m. And for indefinitely confined voters, it's October 30th at 5 p.m. While these are the legal deadlines, if you make a request in late October, you won't have enough time to request, receive, and return your absentee ballot. Again, request it as soon as possible. October 20th might be the latest date to request it and have time to receive and complete it. I'm going to explain several ways that you can request an absentee ballot. Your absentee ballot will be mailed to you by your clerk. A general guideline: if a voter needs an accommodation, such as a large print ballot or a Braille ballot, include that information on the absentee request or contact your clerk as soon as possible. If you want to request your absentee ballot online, the site I've mentioned a few times, My Vote Wisconsin, is a place to go. Here's a screenshot from the My Vote Wisconsin website. You will select Vote Absentee. On the next screen, you will be asked to enter your name and date of birth to get started. If you are indefinitely confined, select it on this screen. Our video isn't showing all of the screens, as they may be different for each voter depending on whether you have requested a ballot before. If you have not requested an absentee ballot before, you will be asked to upload a copy of your photo ID unless you are exempt by law. You may use your smartphone to take a picture of your Wisconsin ID or driver's license and upload it with your application. Don't want to apply online? You can apply by mail. Complete a paper absentee ballot request form. You may receive this form in the mail. You may have it already. The Wisconsin Elections Commission mailed absentee ballot request forms to all registered voters who did not have an absentee request on file. That mailing went out in early September. You can also download a copy of the form from the Wisconsin Elections Commission website at elections.wi.gov. Complete and mail your absentee ballot request to your clerk with a copy of your photo ID, unless exempt by law. Again, be sure to mail it as soon as possible to allow time to receive and return your ballot. Another way to request your absentee ballot is by email. Email your clerk to request an absentee ballot and state your full name, Wisconsin voting address, the election you want a ballot for, and mailing address if different than voting address. Include a copy of your photo ID with the email, unless it's already on file, or if you're exempt by law. If you are an indefinitely confined voter, be sure to state that in your email. Please note that your ballot will be mailed to you. It will not be emailed. Finally, you can complete the absentee ballot request in person. Complete the form at your clerk's office. At that time, you'll need to provide a copy of your acceptable photo ID, unless you're exempt by law, or if you already have one on file. When you receive your absentee ballot, it will come with detailed instructions. Carefully follow those instructions to make sure your vote is counted. A few tips. Use a black pen to complete your ballot. Vote your ballot in the presence of an adult witness. Your witness can be any U.S. citizen who is at least 18 years old. A witness can be a friend, a spouse, a family member, a care worker, or a neighbor. A candidate on the ballot for this election cannot be a witness. The witness must verify that you completed the absentee ballot. Because voting is a private activity, your witness cannot tell you who or what to vote for and should not see the choices you make on your ballot. Put your ballot in the return envelope. This is the absentee ballot return envelope with directions for your witness to complete. You should seal the envelope in the presence of your witness. Fill out the required section of the form on the absentee ballot envelope. These include the following: voter signature. You or your assistant, if you have someone assist you, must sign in the certification of voter section. Have your witness sign the certificate envelope on the line marked signature of witness and write their full address, street number, street name, and city under the witness signature. Double check the voter information section to be sure it's accurate. That usually includes your name and address and would be filled out by your clerk. If any of the required information mentioned above is missing, your ballot will not be counted. So make sure to check it over carefully. If you need help reading or filling out your ballot or absentee return envelope, you may ask for assistance from anyone who is not your employer or a representative of your labor union. Your assistant may also serve as your witness. Simply explaining how to fill out your ballot or return envelope is not considered assistance. Your assistant must sign in the certification of voter assistance section on your ballot. Your assistant can read your ballot to you or fill out your ballot under your direction, but cannot tell you how to vote. If someone signs your absentee return envelope on your behalf, make sure they also sign in the certification of assistant section. Your assistant may also serve as your witness. If you make a mistake while marking your ballot or otherwise require a replacement ballot, be sure to contact your municipal clerk as soon as possible to allow time to replace your ballot. If there isn't enough time to request a replacement ballot and you have not returned your ballot, you may still vote in person at the polls on election day. Now we'll share some guidance about returning your absentee ballot. Very important, your ballot must be received in time to be delivered to your polling place no later than 8 p.m. on election day, Tuesday, November 3rd. We encourage you to return your absentee ballot as soon as possible. Do not delay. There are a few options for returning your ballot. If you mail your absentee ballot, allow plenty of time. The U.S. Postal Service recommends mailing your ballot at least 1 week before Election Day. Returning a ballot from overseas may take longer. There have been concerns about the timeliness of deliveries from the U.S. Postal Service. After October 20th, you may want to play it safe and look at other options for returning your ballot. Some of the other options include drop it off at your municipal clerk's office, drop it off at your polling place or central count location on election day. However, be sure to check first with your clerk to ask if your community accepts absentee ballots at the polling place. The city of Milwaukee, Green Bay, Kenosha, and some other communities that use central count accept ballots at central count locations rather than at the polling place. And finally, in many communities, you can drop off your ballot in a special absentee ballot drop box. These are secure locations where you can be confident about returning your absentee ballot. These locations will be added soon to the My Vote Wisconsin website. In the meantime, check with your clerk to find out if your community has an absentee drop box. That's how I returned my absentee ballot. We'll share some tips for returning your absentee ballot. Absentee ballots may not be returned by email or fax. A voter may ask someone else to deliver their completed, sealed ballot for them. If you run out of time to return your absentee ballot, you still have the option to vote in person at your polling place on election day or to early vote. Remember, you may only vote once. You may check the status of your absentee ballot on myvote.wi.gov. That will show once you have completed your ballot request, and once it's mailed, if it has been received by your clerk. Remember the deadline to return your absentee ballot. It must be in the hands of your clerk on November 3rd at 8 p.m. Another option for voting is early voting, which is sometimes called in-person absentee voting. It may take place at your municipal clerk's office or another location. Each city, village, and town in Wisconsin is responsible for setting the dates and hours of in-person absentee voting for their municipality. To find the dates and hours for in-person absentee voting where you live, contact your municipal clerk. Early voting locations are also being added soon to the My Vote Wisconsin website, so stay tuned for that. We have some early voting tips for you. Early voting begins on October 20th. If you early vote, be sure to bring your photo ID. If you need to vote curbside, please know that it's required by law for any voter who cannot enter the polling place due to disability, including at early voting locations. This may include voters who are immunocompromised or have symptoms of COVID-19. We encourage you to contact your municipal clerk before Election Day or early voting to learn how to access curbside voting. Early voting can be a good option for someone who also needs to register to vote. Reminder, to register to vote, you need to bring a proof of residence, such as a utility bill or bank statement, or if your current address is on your photo ID, that can also fill the purpose. If you have questions, help is available. Contact your municipal clerk. They're such a good resource. That contact information is available on myvote.wi.gov. Please consider giving us a call at Disability Rights Wisconsin Voter Hotline, 1-844-347-8683. You can also email us at info@disabilityvote.org. The Wisconsin Elections Commission is a very helpful resource for questions. 866-868-3947. Their website at elections.wi.gov is also has a lot of great information. We mentioned before the DMV voter ID hotline. If you don't have a photo ID for voting, you should make arrangements to get one as soon as possible. The number is 844-588-1069. They can help explain to you how to apply for a free photo ID for voting. Finally, the Disability Vote Coalition has a lot of resources we hope you'll check out. We have a website with videos and fact sheets at disabilityvote.org, an e-newsletter that you can sign up for on our website, a lot of information on Facebook. If you're a Facebook user, follow us and share our posts. Organizations and individuals are invited to join the coalition in our work to train and support Wisconsinites with disabilities on their voting rights. If a voter has a problem with an accommodation request or accessibility concern, be sure to speak up. Again, help is available. You can contact your municipal clerk. That's a good first step. If you aren't satisfied with how the issue is resolved, we encourage you to contact the Wisconsin Election Commission. And it's important to document your concern with a complaint. You can make a complaint to the Wisconsin Election Commission by phone or online at elections.wi.gov/complaints. You may use the option to report an accessibility concern. Reporting your complaint gets it on record so that this can be addressed for the future and help other voters as well. Please feel free to contact the Disability Rights Wisconsin Voter Hotline to receive assistance with your concern or help recording a complaint. A little bit more about recording a complaint. As we mentioned, the complaints can be entered online using the option to report an accessibility concern. You can also call or email to request that a complaint form be mailed to you or to share your concern. And finally, the DRW Voter Hotline is available to assist you with your complaint. A quick summary of what we discussed today. Voting absentee can be a safe and convenient option. Carefully follow the directions so your vote is counted. Request and return your ballot as soon as possible. All ballots must be returned by mail, drop box, or in-person delivery so that they are in the clerk's office no later than 8 p.m. on election day in order to be counted. Again, help is available. Don't hesitate to contact the resources we have shared, including the DRW Voter Hotline. We'd love to hear from you. Absentee voting can be a safe way to vote during the pandemic. We hope this video will help you to vote safely and make sure your vote is counted in the November 3rd election. Thank you.